All right, Unit 7, sequences. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about this as we go, since we're not really going to learn too much about sequences this year. I'm going to jump right into it. So sequences. Sequences actually are all about formulas. I'm going to pull up right here. This is the reference sheet that you get for the Regents exam. This reference sheet's also on the back of your green book. So as I talk about the reference sheet, I hope you follow along, or at least look where I'm looking, because if you look here, arithmetic and geometric, these are the two flavors of sequences. You have to know which one they're using for the problem, because the different types of sequences use different formulas. So I'm going to jump into the question, and then I'm going to talk to you about how do we know which formula to use for our question. Alrighty, so back to our question. The 11th term, why did they not just write the number 11? I don't know. Seeing if you can read. The 11th term of the sequence, a sequence is just a pattern, 3, comma, -6, comma, 12, comma, -24, comma, dot, dot, dot. You need to have an intuitive grip on what this pattern is. So really quickly, look at this pattern. 3, -6, 12, -24, mystery. What's the pattern? What's the rule? What's it doing? Is it adding 3 each time? Kinda. I mean, 3 goes to 6, then 6 goes to 12. So it's not increasing by or decreasing by 3. There's a negative that's kind of jumping. What's happening is it's 3 times a certain number. 3 times what is -6? Times -2. Let's test that theory. So from -6 to 12, if I times it by -2, does that complete the jump? It does, because -6 times -2 is +12, and then +12 to -24, that rule is still working. Oop, don't know why I'm putting -24. It's timesing by -2 each time, so that's the rule. So if you wanted to muscle through this question, you could sit here with a paper and just times it by -2 11 times, and then hopefully, as long as your bookkeeping is really good, you'll get the right answer. Now, I'm going to show you the real way to do it with sequences. Now, back to the reference sheet. On the reference sheet, there's two types of sequences here. Okay, we have an arithmetic and geometric. So arithmetic means it's being added every time. +4, +4, +4, or minus every time. -7, -7, -7, -7. Our pattern, I want that to go away. Our pattern for this is times 2, times -2. Okay, if it's being multiplied or divided each time, which is pretty rare, it's times by a fraction, it's called geometric. Okay, so a geometric sequence is when it's being times every time, which is what we have here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the formula, and I'm going to write it in the opening, and then we'll talk about the formula. So a sub n equals a sub 1 times r to the n minus 1. So I'm going to write here a sub n. I know you don't know what this means. We just have to know that this is geometric, so we're going to grab the geometric one. A sub 1 times r to the n minus 1. So in sequences, we don't use the letter x, we use the letter n. N represents the number term you're on. So they want number 11, the 11th term. So everywhere there's an n, I'm going to swap it out for an 11. Okay, that's the key. So if you don't understand that, rewind the video and listen to me say that one more time. So they want the 11th term. The number term they want is number 11. So n equals 11, fact. So everywhere the letter n is, I'm going to swap it out for 11, which is weird with the exponent, but if you just walk into it, you're fine. R is the ratio. R is, what are we timesing it by each time? We're timesing it by what number? Each time we times it by -2. So n is 11, r is -2, and that just leaves a sub 1. Okay, put a comma there because these are two different statements. A sub 1 is the first number in your pattern for a sequence. Well, that's pretty easy. So here's your pattern, 3, -6, 12, -24, dot, dot, dot. What is the first number in the pattern? It's 3. Starts at 3, right? You have all the ingredients to craft it, and then it's a calculator question. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to write over here. They want the 11th term. So it's not a sub n, it's a sub 11. Little 11, it's a subscript. A sub n equals a sub 1. I know what a sub 1 is. It's 3. A sub 11 is 3 times r. I'm going to use parentheses here. R is my ratio. My ratio is times -2, so I'm going to put -2 in here. To the n minus 1, n is 11, so I'm going to make this 11 minus 1. Now, we know what 11 minus 1 is. It's 10. You could write 10 instead, but I'm going to leave it as 11 minus 1 because I'm taking the regions. I'm freaking out. I don't know what I'm doing. Grab your calculator, type in everything after the equal sign, all that stuff right there in yellow, or type that in and click enter, and you have your answer. Okay? So I'm going to type in 3, parenthesis, -2, parenthesis, caret, go upstairs, and it's 11 minus 1, which is just 10. You could write 10, but click enter. 3072, positive 3072. I look and I see that is an answer choice, and I say woohoo, all done. So the answer is choice 3. So to get through this question, you need to know if it's arithmetic or geometric. It's geometric because it's multiplication. You get the formula down. Done. Build the formula. A1 is the first term. R is what are you timesing by each time. And N is the number term they want. They wanted 11. That's why we plugged in 11. Parentheses are going to be your friend, okay? So that's how you do these sequence questions. Should help you with 7B if you haven't done that yet.